November 19th, 2018, regular board meeting. You all will rise for the presentation of the color and our pledge of allegiance.
Eric Reed. Colors. Ready, cut, or earn, arch. Color, hold, or error, colors. Ready, cut. On 5, left turn. March. Color guard. Halt. Ready, and colors.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eric Reed. Colors. Ready, cut. Color guard. Oath. Ready, move. Color guard. Dismissed.
Okay. Thank you to our excellent ROTC program for being here tonight. You guys do a lot of great work. We see you around the community all the time, and we really appreciate you being here tonight for this, so thank you.
anytime, sir.
Apologize for being a few minutes late. We were getting an excellent tour, some of the makerspace here in Aylesworth, looking at some of the robotics team, so took a little longer than we thought it would. We probably could have stayed up there for another hour easily. Really cool stuff. We do have our public comment forms. They're over here by Dr. Allenez. If anyone would like to address the board at the appropriate time, please fill out one of those forms and return it to the board table. We'll begin the meeting today with adjustments to the agenda. Are there any adjustments to the agenda tonight from anyone? Okay, we'll move on to student achievement. The recognition, we have the girls of STEM and coding. Mr. Kappas?
That was the showcase upstairs.
That's what we did upstairs, okay. We have the Ellsworth Robotics, which we saw as well. Okay, superintendent consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Vasquez, yes. Mrs. Prisco?
Yes.
Mr. Muleta?
Yes. Okay, we move on to our board consent agenda.
Mr. Maleta, sorry to interrupt. We do have, as part of student achievement, a writing club and a makerspace to show that I thought was gonna be part of tonight's presentation. but I'm
Oh,
sorry
okay.
Got overlooked.
Okay, well, let's finish this and we'll get right into that. So we have our board consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the board consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And call the roll, please.
Ms. Vasquez, yes. Mrs. Prisco?
Yes.
Mr. Muleta?
Yes. Okay, Mr. King, we'll turn it over to you. Thank you for letting us know that.
We have two things we just wanted to showcase going on here at Aylesworth. The first is we have a nano writing club. We've got 3 amazing young kiddos who are starting a writing journey in which they are writing their own novel. They had to write an essay to enter and be considered for it. And I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Stamper, who's our Nano Tribe coach, and our 3 kiddos who are going to read just enough of their writing so far to leave you wanting more.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Stamper, and this is our third year of the Nano Tribe. Nano is short for NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, which takes place in November usually. We extend it from October to February because we have a lot of interruptions that happen in November. And basically, the whole point of NaNoWriMo is to get your ideas onto paper, onto a computer, on whatever your choice is, within a month. For adults, it's 50,000 words in a month. For our kiddos, we do individual word count goals. And then we take everything that they've written and edit it, clean it up, and then put it together in an anthology book that we have here in the library. And so this is our third year doing this, and we are so excited for these talented fourth graders. So I'm going to turn it over to Aaliyah.
Good afternoon. The title of my story
First,
is
wait, tell us your name.
Aaliyah Clark. The title of my story is called Savannah and Chloe's Dream. So, the story will take place in Indianapolis, Indiana in the summer. The months will be June. Chloe was born in a big family. She is the third youngest of 12 dogs. Her former owner, Rebecca, could not take care of the puppies, so she gave some away. Chloe was taken to a dog shelter. She was very sad. Savannah was also sad because she felt lonely in her family. Her parents worked a lot and her brother ignored her at home. Savannah's mom promised her that she would get a puppy on her 10th birthday, but she forgot. Savannah's mother finally took her to the animal shelter to find a puppy. Savannah noticed Chloe looking sad and wanted her instantly. Chloe loved Savannah and her new family. Savannah showed Chloe off to her friends to be more popular. One day, Savannah was walking Chloe in her lost, and she lost Chloe when she began talking to her friends. The story continues with Chloe's lonely journey by herself and Savannah's journey searching for her. Hi, my name is Julian, and my story is called The Science Book. It will be taking place in a school. One day there was a kid named Julian, and today he had school. As soon as he got to school, he made friends fast. One of his friends' names were Aiden, and then they was assigned a science project, and then they had to work on a science project. They didn't know what to do for the science project, but they thought of one, and then they were assigned another science project, and then they got first place for the science project.
Thank you. Yes. It's your phone. All right, Deb, you're good. From New York.
My name is Mariana Moulton. My story takes place in all these puppies' houses. And it's called the BFF Dogs and How They Got Their Homes. So let's say we talk magical dogs. And who are those magical dogs, you ask? Well, let me read 12 magical dogs named Amy and Aldo, Fred and Fiona, Liam and Leo, Tyler and Taylor, Olivia and Omar, and last but not least, Jordan and Jada. Should I say that there is really 14 powerful dogs, including Pearl, our boy, and Aaliyah, our hero. So let me tell you what was going on at Amy and Aldo's house. So while Amy was making fried chicken for her puppies and Aldo, the puppies were playing in the backyard. But then Amy realizes that there are no chickens to fry. Then Amy was setting up a surprise dinner for Popeyes. So she said, we're going somewhere fun to the puppies, and off they went to Popeyes. The puppies were so happy. Aldo said that he loved Popeyes, and then Amy left. When they got back home, it was time for bed.
was talked about Jordan too. So they went to their favorite place ever, and it was high school. I don't know why, but it was. So Jordan and Jada thought that they were one when they held hands, but they were not. So Chloe shouted, Jordan and Jada are holding hands, and they were very embarrassed, and everybody kept laughing and laughing and laughing. That's it.
And so when they're done, they will be the third anthology that will be published in our library, and we will certainly make sure that you guys get to see the final finished products of their stories and novels. So kiddos, you did great, and you've got some wonderful story ideas that we're just excited to unfold. And I know for Julian, this was really big for him. He was one that was just really unsure about sharing. And Julian, I'm just super proud that you have stepped up with the other two ladies and shared your good stuff. So nice job, kids.
Great job by all, thank you.
The next thing and the last thing we have for you is just a 3-minute makerspace video that's been put together by Mrs. McBain, our ITS, and it's just going to showcase and highlight the wide variety of uniquely better learning activities and experiences that our kiddos, thanks to our teachers, have been engaged in so far this year in makerspace.
And then, Mr. King,
Yeah.
can you just give, since now that we have this on YouTube, a lot of people might not know the word makerspace.
Sure.
Can you just give a little information about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while I'm on YouTube, boy, this is,
there you
we're up
go.
in our game here. Yeah, so Makerspace is a place where, all options are possible, where ideas are limitless. It's a place where kids can just create, kids can problem solve, kids can collaborate, kids are given, they're often given tasks with very little instructions and said, here are the things to make it, work together and see what you come up with ultimately as a project. So what it really is, what I really like about it is it's really helping our kids think on their toes, think with each other. What I like about it as well is Makerspace is intended to help kids think about what their first plan is, see how that develops. Oftentimes what they're learning is the first try isn't what ultimately becomes their final product. So they're learning to listen to different perspectives, they're learning to edit their thinking, they're learning to revise their projects and what it is they're working on. So it's just a place where kids can think on their own, think together and create things that just are uniquely better. Really what I think is it's a snapshot of what they're going to be doing when they graduate from high school and college. So it's helping them be equipped with skills that allow them to tackle really anything with very little instruction or guidance and just take those experiences and work with one another to make some pretty cool things happen.
So how does the physical space actually work? So how often do the kids go in there? Is it different teachers reserve that space to do projects?
Yeah, what we did, we wanted to make sure that all of our kids had regular access to Makerspace. So every teacher selected a 50-minute slot one time a week. And so teachers will take their kiddos down one time a week. And what is really neat is what we're seeing is that they're starting a project one time, and typically that carries into a second or third time. So it's not something that they're doing and then leaving. It's that nice where they're picking up where they left off, but it is happening regularly. The kids are getting access to it once a week and just engaged in some pretty cool things. We've got teachers who are doing things individually. We also have some grade levels who are partnering together and doing some similar projects. We'll have one teacher in one grade pair up with another teacher in the same grade, and they'll tackle something together. So there's just a lot of really unique thinking going on with our teachers. And the things that our kids are engaged in right now, for our first year doing this, I think are just pretty darn special. So, yeah, we certainly felt it was important for them to have regular access to it, which is why we said, we want you to sign up for a weekly 50-minute slot, so we knew that there was that idea of getting there on a regular basis and not something that was really an event. It was something that they knew was just part of their curriculum, part of their experience. So, and from talking to the kids, that's something that they really look forward to. When you ask them what was the best part of their day, Makerspace is usually one of the top answers because of what just they're able to do and who they're able to do it with, so.
And it's
yeah.
all hands-on.
It's all
It's all
hands-on.
hands-on.
Yep.
So there's no book, no papers,
Yep,
no computer.
doing a lot of research, sometimes in computer, they're practicing coding. We've got Spheros that the kids are being able to, be able to manipulate and code. Yeah, just, you name it, there's some pretty cool things going on. And it doesn't take much, all you need sometimes are popsicle sticks, glue and a string, and you can make some pretty cool things happen with that, so.
Kids love a good cardboard box.
Absolutely, absolutely, yep, yep. So here's the video. I hope you enjoy and can celebrate like we are and just the great things that our kiddos are being engaged in. So thanks for letting us share and celebrate.
And then are we still looking for donations for Legos?
Yes,
And you
yes.
can drop them off at the
You can absolutely
central
still
office.
drop them off at central office. We've had several come through and be sorted. As a matter of fact, our students in the least restrictive environment at the high school who like to look for jobs to do, they have sorted the last group of Legos. So that was very helpful and it got done a lot quicker than if we would have done it ourselves, so.
It's just great. It's really cool, you see in that video too, you see all the collaboration with the kids working together on projects, and it's really awesome.
And one thing I would just like to mention as well, that it's that whole concept of STEM coming together with science, technology, engineering, and math. And then Mr. DePasquale and his crew is working on how then that develops into STEAM. And so the related arts teachers working alongside with our classroom teachers and making sure that there is that holistic approach to inquiry-based education and building some real opportunities for kids to be inquisitive, be engaged, and just motivated to learn.
So STEAM, integrates the arts into STEM, which is
Yes.
science, technology, engineering, and math.
Right.
Very good. Okay, we'll move on to board development. Legislative, do we have a report? Trustee Frisco?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay, I see trustee Nelson was on here, but she's obviously not here.
Do you have any update on the RDC,
No,
Park Department?
nope,
No.
nope. Park Department's meeting right now.
Your meeting now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I missed it.
Mrs. Nelson was going to share the meet and greet. This was for the annual awards grants for the Portage Township Schools educators. They're gonna share the various projects and how students are benefiting from those projects, from the grants awarded by the Portage Portage Township Education Foundation. So that is November 28th from 4 to 6 at Portage High School West. That was that update.
Okay, great, thank you.
I did share an article with everybody, and I think it's probably important maybe to mention that the virtual schools, the online virtual schools are huge in the state of Indiana. They're actually charter schools, public, taxpayers' dollars go to support those schools. Students don't physically have to be even anywhere in a brick and mortar atmosphere. It's unfortunate because I believe it was like at 10th grade, in fact, they have become one of the largest school districts in the state of Indiana, both of them. And one showed that in 10th grade, approximately 90% of the kids didn't even participate in the ECA, or you want to consider I-STEP testing. So no accountability, F grade for one of them. And once again, when parents are thinking about, let's take our kids out of public education and put them on online, just make sure you do your homework and you do your research and you look at the right data and information, because it doesn't necessarily mean that they're being taught correctly because it's online.
And then when you consider those opportunities such as the innovative learning labs that can't be replicated online, they have to be that real life experience for those kids to be able to have those opportunities, so.
Makerspace, perfect example.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to old business, item 7.01, advanced imaging contract. Any update on that, Dr. Alanis?
I do not have any update.
7.02, custodial vision plan. Any update on that?
The update for that is that this is now, after doing some further investigation with Attorney Stidham and Attorney Elwood, this is something that can be provided to all of those in that support staff USW group. So anyone who works between 30 hours or above qualifies for this plan and will be offered that. So at this point in time, the agreement is attached, and I would be asking that we approve it for all of those individuals. And we can approve that at the next meeting if you would like.
So transportation, custodial, food service.
Yes, and any instructional assistant support staff group that qualifies with the 30 hours. Yes.
So Mr. Stidham, obviously those contracts aren't up, so is this option in there, or what would happen? It would just be amendment to the contract, or to those other bargaining units?
To the four?
The three.
The three. Yeah, well, and it's gonna be, part of obviously bargaining going on now, but certainly we would just, because we're offering this as an additional benefit, there's nothing we have to, we don't need their approval.
So what are we voting on tonight? Just one out of the three? Well, three for training.
Yeah, I'm confused too.
No, what I'm saying, I'm sorry, I was not clear on that. What I would be seeking for at our next meeting is could we vote to have all four groups covered in that, and I will have because all four groups who would qualify for that.
Well, who's the fourth one? Because the fourth is teachers, there's a separate.
Well, there's the I'm sorry, because I'm adding custodial as fourth group.
Okay.
So custodial, transportation, food service, and then instructional support staff, who are a minimum of 30 hours. So it would just be in addition to what was originally only custodial, because what we found through further research was, when this was originally provided only to custodial, It was prior to the Affordable Care Act, so it was all 40-hour employees. And that had just never been revised to include those who reached the 30-hour mark. So that would be what this would be for then.
So I guess my original question was, they're already contracted.
Mhm.
This is something added to it. Is this gonna be an addendum? How is this gonna work?
We'll do it as an addendum to
Addendum, that's
the
what I
bargaining
know.
agreement, yeah.
They have, it has to be, we just can't vote on it.
No,
We
of
have to
course,
have
sure.
something as an addendum, or you're gonna have to open it up again to so it's just gonna be an addendum,
Just need to,
no voting.
this board will need to vote, they
No,
don't need
but by
to.
anybody else, and then no contract bargaining,
No.
no opening up any contract, I just wanna make sure.
So then I will work with Attorney Stidham and Attorney Elwood to make sure we have the addendum for next.
Yeah, you make sure
next
those, so it's
meeting.
more formal,
Absolutely, yes,
formalized. with
yes,
the
I just wanted to
addendum.
make sure I at least gave you the update that that's the process and the
Okay.
location that we are in determining how to move forward.
Okay. All right, move on to new business. Ratification of the vendor contract to Incremedical. Do you want to explain what this is, Dr. Allen?
Yes, I'm going down to your description, my apologies. This is for, our athletic trainers. So to include, the evaluation and treatment of minor injuries, first aid and other medical assistance as is reasonable and possible under the circumstances, pending an arrival of an ambulance.
Is this a renewal of a contract, or is this?
This is the renewal of our, I'm sorry, my thought process is leaving me, the athletic trainers. This is a renewal of their agreement.
This has been reviewed, see the check mark by Attorney Elwood. Do you have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the intra-medical contract Robin Foreman.
Do we have a second? Do you have some questions?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's from August 1st, 2018 to January 1st, 2019, annual per period 24,000. Total amount of contract 48,000, what am I missing?
There are 2 athletic trainers.
Mr. Stidham, can you help me with that?
I think you're referring to the term is more than a year and a bit, is that, you're wondering how it gets to?
Well, I'm wondering how, I get what you're, she's saying that it's 2 athletic trainers, but that's specifically, I don't see that delineated there. I mean, it's just total amount of contract 48, amount per period 24. Amount per period tells me what's the period. Is
And
it
Exhibit
6
C,
months?
Exhibit C to the contract identifies the period.
What is the period then?
So August 1, 2018, is 24,000, and January 1, 2019, 24,000.
So this is just the payment period, the contract period goes from August 2018 to June 1st, 2019, so it's the whole school year.
Mhm.
And then that's the first payment period.
It identifies the other 2.
So you pay 24,000 August 1st, you pay another 24,000
Okay.
January 1st.
So we're paying it biannual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Per semester.
So it's not 24,000 per person, per se.
That's,
And that may be how they arrive at that
Right.
48,000 figure, that this is just referencing how they want their payment.
Okay. So do we get a second?
no, we did not.
You gonna make the second, Mr.
I'll make the
Milano?
second. I second. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Vasquez, yes. Mrs. Oprushko?
Yes.
Mr. Mileta?
Yes. Next, we have 8.02, our MOU between Neighbor Educational Opportunities and Portage Township Schools for emergency transportation services.
This is again in the event that there would need to be an evacuation, that we would assist NEO in providing the transportation to their undisclosed site.
Again, this is similar to what we did.
Portage Christian and Nativity.
We have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the NEO emergency evacuation plan.
Second?
We have a motion and a second, any discussion?
And this is state statute driven, that we as a public have to do this for private school districts.
Can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Vasquez, yes. Mrs. Prushko?
Yes,
Mr. Maleta?
Yes. Okay, next we have item 8.03, first reading of Neola and Portage Township School policies. I'm gonna ask these as read, listed on our agenda, so I don't have to read through each.
I'm gonna request Mr. Mileta, please, before we make a motion and possibly have to remove the motion in the second, that we pull out 3, that I think some amendments need to be made that weren't able to be made before the first reading, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, which are the 3?
With the 2 new ones, so the key access to the buildings is 1, the badge ID access to buildings is the second new. The third is an existing policy, 1225, personnel exit interview.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the policies with the 3 that I stated as to be pulled out separately.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? So you're gonna take these back, you guys?
No, we can approve first reading tonight with with a couple amendments, if that's okay with the board.
That's fine, we can do that,
We can, yeah.
okay? Can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Vasquez, yes. Mrs. Prushko?
Yes.
Mr. Maleta?
Yes.
And I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the 2 new policies, the key access ID to buildings, the badge ID access to buildings, and 1225 personnel exit interview, with the following amendments I'd like to address. With the 2 new policy with the key access and the badge ID, it has, it doesn't have any wording as far as returning those items and that they are PTS property. So I think that they should have the same language as 1225 personnel exit interview, that they are PTS property, and employees should return the items belonging to the school corporation, such as keys, I'd like badge ID to be included, computers, and all other property immediately upon resignation, retirement, or otherwise, but I would like to have the wording terminated also included in all 3.
Okay, so was that a motion?
That's the motion. That's the amendment to the motion.
Okay.
Second?
We have a motion and a second, any more discussion? Can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Vasquez, yes. Mrs. Prushko?
Yes.
Mr. Maleta?
Yes.
And just to clarify, the reason being is because the exit interview is only typically for administrators, and that's not for every administrator. So therefore, I think we have to delineate the staff also. Everybody has to return these, not just individuals with an exit interview. And I think that would clarify that.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think what we'll wanna do too is link the policies
Yes,
together, since
please.
they're all 3 related, so
Mhm.
that there is, identification in each one that they reference it to the other policies.
You can
Right.
click on, they'll be online, you can click on them, yes.
Good. Okay, next we have item 8.04, approval to advertise for the HVAC project.
As the board is aware, we're looking to move forward with the upgrades to our HVAC units, and in this process, utilizing the dollars from our recently sold bonds, equating to $2 million, and this project, of course, being the sole purpose of the bond, based on the estimates of the work coming back. Those other additional items that we had included in that bond issue will not take place. We're making this the priority across the district. So I'd like to move forward with advertisement and also the ability to seek your approval to do so.
And this is what we had the bond for.
Correct.
These things
This was
are
the main
old
priority of
and
the bond.
in bad shape and haven't been
Correct.
replaced in many, many, many years.
Mhm.
So do we have a motion to approve to advertise for the HVAC project?
I'll make a motion to approve and advertise for the HVAC project.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Any more discussion?
Yes, I think that we had the Buildings and Grounds Committee that Mr. Miletta and myself were on, and obviously we had numerous documents concerning and relating to this. And it is going to be all 11 buildings and replacing the chillers that some are that actually just outdated. And also there is going to be, was it federal or state statutory language, maybe Mr., I don't know if you know Mr. Stidham, do you remember if it was federal or state? I would imagine state, or federal.
I thought it was federal.
Federal, that we are going to have to in the future change these out anyway. They're just gonna be phased out.
Because of the Freon that's in it, that's no longer
Environmental.
gonna be available.
And I believe that was
in the
within
next
2
year.
years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And so we haven't changed them out. I think they were all passed. They're working and it'll be better for the students and it'll be better for the environment. And I'm lucky that PTS has that type of means to replace those.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Vasquez, yes. Mrs. Flushman?
Yes.
Mr. Miletta?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to our superintendent reports. Dr. Alanis.
Really quickly, before we have our communications intern give an update, I would like to introduce Sanja Kurova, who is a senior and valedictorian, and her crew of young ladies back there who are initiating some wonderful STEM opportunities for girls as mentors.
Yes, please.
And they were still upstairs when at the start of the meeting, so I'm glad to have them now.
Thank you, yeah, so we have been Portabots members, robotics members for the past 3 or 4 years, and that experience has grown us. We've experienced a lot of success in STEM, taking project lead the way classes, fortunately. We've gotten many experiences outside of the classroom. We've gone to summer camps that have exposed us furthermore to STEM careers. So we just would like to invite you to see our display upstairs, everyone here. Again, I know that it was started at the beginning, but I feel like if you just spent a little more time with us, we'd be able to show you more in depth what we do. We have computer science covered, technology, engineering, all those topics that make us excited. Yeah, thank you. We would just like to invite you guys upstairs again to show you guys our computer science camp that we put up with fundings from the National Center for Women in Information Technology. So that is in joint with the Boys and Girls Club, and a second session will be offered in the spring, so I feel like it's important to have your recognition for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone
That's
else?
why it was all girls up there.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
Anyone else who would like to just share briefly how it's going with the mentoring for those students, for those young ladies, 4th through 8th grade, and what you've learned and what you feel they've benefited from this experience?
So my name is Cassandra Garai. I'm a senior. These are my mentor friends. So kind of what building off what Sonia said, we mentor at the Boys and Girls Club. We're giving these girls an opportunity that we never had. We struggled to where we are now, and I'm so grateful for that struggle. But I feel like it's necessary for these girls to have a helping hand. I know we all specialize in different things. We're all different sizes. We're all different religions, ethnicities, sexualities. It's important for them to come together as one, to understand that there's a gender gap, and to understand that they're not alone. They don't need to struggle, and that's why we're here. Okay? And I wish, like I said, we had opportunities like this when we were growing up, because it would have helped me so much. We're giving these girls opportunities, opening up doors, I should say. So the things that we've discovered throughout the way, there's programs that
help them financially when they get older. I know we've had a couple of the girls who were not even sure if they wanted to be in the program. Some of them want to be veterinarians, some of them want to be doctors, some of them want to be mechanics. So this is just something that I feel like would be good on their background.
I'm Kelly Schaefer, I'm also a senior, and with this program, the girls get to be able to like make those connections and be able to just have this background information when they go to high school or middle school, so that when they actually do want to do this stuff, they have that background knowledge and actually know that they want to do this. And if they don't want to do this, that's completely okay too, but they give it a shot, and then everything that we're learning in the program, like not just with technology and engineering, but with communication and with networking, and like realizing that it's okay to ask questions or ask for help. That's okay to rely on someone, not just yourself.
Sorry. My name is Miranda Keith. I am a junior, and I guess one thing that I've learned the most from this experience is that growing up, I didn't even know anything about STEM or computers. It was all very new to me, and being in this program, it's really been a learning experience for all of us because we're very new at teaching, we're very new at mentoring. So being able to gain this patience with kids and be able to help them understand that, hey, we're learning too, we're going through this experience with you, we're learning the same topics that you're covering, we're learning more things ourselves. So it's not just a, hey, you're the student, I'm the mentor, it's a team effort, it's a team program. It's not just like competitive, this person is smarter than this person, we work together because we all have an ending goal, we all want to get to the same place and become better in STEM and learn more and achieve more in our lives with it.
If I can add one more thing. These are the type of girls who wouldn't have spoken a word, let alone a couple years ago. So I've had the blessings to watch them grow alongside me and to take these opportunities and to speak to different people and to grow our technical as well as social. So these are the kind of opportunities that we're taking from Portage High School, and we're gonna take it far. So thank you.
If I may just ask a question, of this group, there's one junior. So how do we ensure the sustainability of this mentorship?
Can I get on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. So we've all been on a Portage Bots team called Team W last year. It is an all women's team. We actually qualified for state. Unfortunately, we're not there for that. But we nationals. Oh, well, I guess sometime. Okay. But there's other women in this robotics team. It's not just us. There's Sarah. She's a freshman, and we're actually kind of taking her under her wing. She went to this Girl Howard event with us. It's once a year, and it's where we actually have a panel of STEM-related fields, and it's just openness. It's really nice to ask. It's either personal questions, professional questions, and with that, we've taught her and we've mentored her through this process. So our hope is when we leave, the seniors leave, that Marina would step forth and take on that leadership and train, and that's just kind of our thought process that we're just gonna keep recruiting, and hopefully these women have the same ideas and like points that we're trying to do ourselves.
Logistically speaking, I guess, the NCWAT material, so that was, I think, like $2,000 of materials that we bought, so that stays within the Boys and Girls Club, and they're able to further foster this in our community, so they're reaching out to the high school for that space, to have it at the high school where it's more accessible, I feel, to the greater community, because they won't have to pay for Boys and Girls Club membership, and we're able to impact different kinds of audiences that way. So that will stay property of the Boys and Girls Club. And National Center for Information and Technology, that program, it awards girls every year based on their experience and their involvement in STEM. And so I've been fortunate to have that award for 2 years, and I've made these girls apply. So hopefully, I went to that to the ceremony every year, and the only girls that I met were down from Indy and West Lafayette, and I had a problem with that because I didn't know anyone. So hopefully, we'll get more people up there this year. So.
And then you said that you were in a summer camp. Where was that at?
So my first summer camp was Yale Young Global Scholars, and I did the Applied Science and Engineering session. I went out there for 2 weeks on the Yale campus, and we we received lectures from professors, we went under seminars taught by undergrad and grad students. We did projects, we did simulations, different things like that that just further excited me, and I just saw the opportunities to be a leader and to share this with my community. So the second one that I had was MOSTEC, which is the MIT Online Science Engineering Technology Community, and really long names, but basically what we did was, it's still in progress, so we started in the summer. It's a 6-month-long program for high school seniors who are interested in STEM, and so in the summer we took classes taught by grad and undergrad students. I took the astrophysics course, and then we went for a week on the MIT campus. We participated in workshops, we participated in, we had like lectures, we basically toured MIT, we saw all the resources that they had. So it was a grand time, and right now we're receiving college application guidance. So that's been super helpful too, because I'm among like those students who needs financial help. So that was really great to be a first-gen student in that program. So
Good luck to you.
thank you. Thank you.
So is this something that's sustainable over the summer, to have possibly a camp for students?
So the
You
boys and
said
girls,
that we're
yeah,
looking for
definitely.
here, possibly to utilize PTS space?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Mr. Kappas has expressed a desire to expand this for our elementary students over the summer, to allow them, our young ladies to learn from Team W, but then also to expand in other areas for students to have STEM camps. I believe it was going to be 2 weeks at a time, so if students so then we can tackle having the opportunity for more kids to rotate through the camps.
And just so that you know, we are looking for high schoolers to work for us in the summer. So have your teacher help you write up job descriptions and
Yeah.
bring to us some ideas of how we can pay you to help our students in the summer and to advance, to put on your resume and your bio that you're gonna be teaching possibly a camp during the summer for students. It'd be great.
I mean, most, definitely, I think it'd be more beneficial, not just for us, we don't really care about, well, I'm personally speaking, I don't really care about the pay or anything, I want those girls to have the opportunity that I never had, cause I think most of us are first generation, I'm a first generation high school student, so this is something that's really impacted me, like, deeply, for these women to, these ladies to, have an opportunity.
I'm the only girl in my family to be interested in the technology field. So to see my family and like the community behind me that supports me, it pushes me to want the future for the kids, to help them get this STEM background, because this is our future. Whether or not we like it, technology is how the next generation is going to be. So to push them to be like, hey, it's okay, you're smart enough, you're good enough, it makes me feel good on the inside to know that I'm making a better future for the younger generations.
Going off of what Marina said, with these girls that are in our program, and hopefully in other programs as well, to see us soon, some of their parents do support them in the STEM field, but some of them do not. And then they have us and the rest of the community backing them up, and then they're talking to their friends about the program and how they really enjoy it. So that means next year, and hopefully next year, we're gonna have a lot more girls doing this. So we're getting a lot more gender differences, not differences.
There's social differences,
Yeah.
girls from different social backgrounds.
So it's not weird or abnormal to have women in engineering, that would become a normal thing again. Or not again, but for the first time. Sorry, I have one last thing to say, I'm so sorry. Our goal is, I know like at this moment we're having these programs, but I feel like my end goal is for when they grow up, they no longer need these programs because it's no longer needed. So,
I just want to say I am very much appreciative of everything that you're doing as young people, and I know that you're going to be continuing to do remarkable things. You're already making an impact on younger people, and you know, the sky is the limit. You know, we didn't have that opportunity when I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s, and it's just remarkable, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you for everything.
thank you.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. You guys are all leaders. You don't realize it.
Mhm.
And you are going to continue to be leaders. And where you go is up to you. And like Miss Allen said, or ask Wes, set your goals high. Don't lower them, because you're inspirational. And thank you for putting PTS on the map. You guys are doing a great job. So we're looking forward to having you on the personnel report for the summer. Seniors are still here for that.
That's right.
Without going away, for school or anything.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That is a continuous conversation that Mr. Kappas has continued to bring up the need for this, and as we can see, I think it speaks volumes when Sonia said that these young ladies have grown themselves in their ability to speak in front of others, and so it's all around something that benefits our students, and who better to learn from than your own peers. But I would also like to mention that you are inspirational to those students you're impacting younger than you, but you're very inspirational to all of us, everyone in this room, the entire community. What you guys are doing as high school students is truly second to none. So be brave, be strong, be you.
So, Dr. Elenes, could we, I know that the school board and some central office, we're going to go on a field trip to that school that, I know, Mr. Milletter, you weren't there, but those who went to a conference at the national level, there was an Indianapolis, or close to Indianapolis school district who does something like this, but they have a permanent space for robotics and other things, and they create their own summer programs and bring in the high schoolers and, something like this, to where it's a continuous throughout the whole summer, and then it's also during breaks, and then it's also, during spring breaks or Christmas breaks, so it kind of gives more of that 365 days a year keeping school open, and if you could maybe give John that contact person, because it's already there, it's already being done, just.
And Mr.
Take a
DePasquale
look at it.
and that team has been working on STEM Champs, which is going to launch this summer too, and that's going to be, I believe, elementary?
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade STEM Champs is going to be another launch this summer, and we're just going to continue to expand. So I'll make sure that contact gets in the right hands as well.
And the reason sooner than not, because if there is potential funding for it, it might have to be done, so application sooner than later for that too.
Very good.
Good evening. I also want to commend the young ladies that presented, because they are absolutely inspirational, and they are also one of my easiest groups to market in Portage County Schools, because they're always doing amazing things, and you can really tell they're learning a lot about other fields such as communications, because they're excellent communicators as well, and they share a lot in different avenues, so they're really just fantastic. Tonight I have Emily Exton with me. She has been my student for the last 3 years. She's a junior at Portage High School, content editor of the student newspaper, and she's also a member of the National Honor Society, and she's going to give tonight's good news.
So for good news, Kyle Elementary School 5th grader Ryan Bogue was the school's first Young Citizen Award recipient for the school year. Ryan received the award for demonstrating the PTS core and critical values during his elementary career. Jones Elementary School welcomed over 350 guests to last week's Title I event, Donuts with Dads. Thank you to everyone who stopped by to have breakfast and pick out a new book with the Jones students. The science classes at Portage High School have been using the new maker spaces in the West Building. The AP Physics class calculated trajectory by shooting foam darts with Nerf guns, and the chemistry classes built three-dimensional models of periodic trends. The Portabots organization received the Putting Portage on the Map award from the Greater Portage Chamber of Commerce this weekend for their dedication and achievements at the VEX Robotics tournaments. Myers Elementary School choir recently performed at a Chicago Wolves game. The students sang the song Our America with 40 other choirs from the area, and each student received a ticket to the game and a free hat. South Haven Elementary School hosted Pastries with Parents last week. Thank you to all the families who joined us for breakfast and books. Thank you to the United Way and Allen Law Group for donating reading buddies to our students. They have been having a great time reading their AR books to their new turtles.
The Portage High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC held their annual ball last weekend. The group invited Fagley Principal Mrs. Caballero as their guest of honor for her support of their program. Teachers from throughout the Portage Township schools attended another Apple training session last week. This time, the teachers learned how to make visually attractive content on their iPads. The Digital Academy students at Portage High School just earned their Microsoft Word certification. By the end of the school year, these students will have the opportunity to earn additional certifications in PowerPoint, Excel, and Access, in addition to earning dual credit. And for upcoming events, there is a Portage High School percussion concert tonight at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, the PHS Jazz Ensemble will perform at 7 o'clock p.m. Also tomorrow, Kyle Elementary will host their Title I event pastry appearance at 7:30 a.m. Also tomorrow, Willow Creek Middle School will be celebrating their November Students of the Week with Sundays with the SRO at 1:45 in the cafeteria. The Greater Good is hosting a Love and Logic class for teachers next Wednesday at 4 o'clock p.m. in rooms A4 and A5 at West. And Sailor Elementary School's Title I event, Sailor is Steaming Ahead, will be held next week, Thursday at 4:45 p.m.
Boy, it doesn't seem to be much going on.
Not at all.
Well, great job, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
What do you have, does anybody else on the board have anything else? So our next meeting is December 3rd, that will be our board discussion meeting at 5 p.m., that'll be at the administration building, and then December 10th will be our regular board meeting at 5 p.m. Mr. King, thank you for your hospitality, you and your staff, as always. It's always fun to, did we have a comments? But it's great to be here, thank you, it's always fun to come to the schools.
Thanks for giving us a chance to host you.
Okay, and Mrs. Klink? Yes. Would you come up, please? We do, I guess I have to, as I always do, go over what we, for speakers, public comment forum. So we do have some rules.
Okay.
And I'm sure you will follow them. No discussion on personnel, legal, or executive content. Public participation will be permitted at the discretion of the presiding officer. We've already registered that. Only residents of Portage Township, we're good. Each statement shall be limited to 3 minutes in duration. Any statement shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members or the superintendent individually. Personal attacks are not permitted. If anything gets out of hand, I'll just end it.
Fair enough.
It's simple as that. So, sorry, thank you.
No, that's okay, and
Yeah, please state your name and address.
my name is Karen Plank. I live at 6130 Mill Run Avenue here in Portage. That is School Board District number 3. Did my research. However, I believe that some of the points that I'm asking to make may fall into some of your categories.
Sorry.
Hit the timer.
Okay, go ahead.
My concern tonight was based on Tuesday's Post Tribune article, and it was regarding salary negotiations. It was stated by both board attorney Elwood and Superintendent Alamez regarding the 8% and the 15% raises. It bothered me. So I did some research and I got some education.
Excuse me, are we able to speak about this since it's not in impasse and it's still in bargaining state? Because she's speaking to the board?
Yeah, it's getting real
Okay.
close.
All right, and I understand that. I understand that. What I would like to say though then is that the impression throughout the county and the area was that the teachers were greedy and self-centered. And that all I'm asking, I guess, is that can we work on our adversarial rhetoric and try to work together again? As an educator as well, I think that we need to work together, the board, the city, the staff, all for the students.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, with that, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.